Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're from. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, How to Style an Email in 5 Minutes, brought to you by Campaigner. My name is Hank Hoffmeyer. I'm the Strategic Insights Manager here at Campaigner. I'm an author, speaker, podcast host, and, of course, the Strategic Insights Manager here at Campaigner. I love all things digital and social. I'm kind of a tech nerd. I have about 20 years experience in sales and marketing, and I've been dubbed the digital marketing infotainer because I make marketing fun and successful. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at Hank Hoffmeyer or connect with me on any other social media channel. Today I'm joined by Chad Carlson. He's the senior product manager here at Campaigner, and he has 3 years experience as a senior member of our Campaigners product management team, but he has 18 years experience in the industry. He helps translate feature ideas and enhancements into real user experiences. He's known to have worked on such items in our application such as geolocation, articles, landing pages, Shopify Sync, the drag and drop editor, which we're going to cover today. And he's also helped bring a bunch of other things that he probably did not list to fruition here at Campaigner. Chad, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much, Hank. Very excited to be here and get to talk about the new editor.
I am as well. And this is a different type of webinar. I know in the past, normally it's just talking heads, talking to slides and bullet points, but this is going to be a little interactive and hopefully our audience is ready.
Yeah, I like the idea of the challenge and I hope I'm up to it. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, you're probably not wondering why you're here because you registered for this webinar and you read a description, but I just want to make sure that you know that we're going to look at Campaigner's brand new drag and drop editor, and we're going to show you how to create professional looking emails in minutes. What I'd like to do is take a look around the editor. Chad's going to drive and he's going to show us what the thought process was with giving us this awesome tool. And we're going to see how easy it is to use. You're going to be shocked at how easy it is to use. And then we're going to make sure we tell you to get the information you need to get help. If for some reason you do get stuck, even though it's easy to use, we want to provide information that'll help you get started and finish up your awesome looking emails. Again, we're going to look at the editor and the features. We're going to provide you with a demo or an overview of the drag and drop editor. And then we're going to do a 5-minute challenge where I'm going to challenge Chad to create an awesome looking email or two. We'll see. And we're going to provide you with the information on how you can contact our support team if you did need that help. With our email editor, it's been overhauled and allows you to drag in rows and blocks of content that are kind of modular. And like I said, you can move them, you can copy them, you can delete them. This way you can quickly and easily create the look and feel of the email that you need to send out very quickly without a lot of assistance or professional experience. We also included a photo editor. It'll allow you to apply effects, maybe crop or rotate your videos, resize them, and you can stylize them with text, colors, markups, kind of like you can with Instagram. There's like filters that you can use to kind of brighten and darken your pictures. It's really cool. Probably should take a look at that as soon as you can. And then also, we're going to provide you with custom themes and inspiration to start out with. Maybe you're struggling with what to send around the holiday season. We're going to provide you with some inspiration and examples that you can actually start with and edit to make it your own. And also, coming soon, we're going to provide you a way to manage your templates that you create and give them to you in a way that you can visually look at them and choose which one you want in either gallery or grid view and allow you to manage those templates more efficiently. And then also, we want you to be able to copy campaigns from the drag and drop editor over to our full email editor to allow you to do some advanced and final edits, which is really cool. With that, what I'm going to do is hand over the reins to Chad, and he's going to show us the drag and drop editor and what it can do. Bear with me 1 second there, folks. Here we go.
All right, I will just take control or share my screen. Hopefully everyone, Hank, you can confirm that you can see my Campaigner screen?
I can verify we can see it.
All right, great. So we will get started. So What we're showing to begin with is the Campaigner email grid, where we list any of the campaigns or content that's been created within Campaigner. This may be the full email editor or one of our legacy editors. What we have is the listing that allows people to sort and filter and do all those things to find any content that they may have produced. Drag and drop falls right into this as anything else. So if you go down to the drop-down menu, you'll see that drag and drop editor is now listed amongst the other options to bring content into Campaigner or produce content within Campaigner. As this is our focus today, we'll start with the drag and drop editor. And what happens is we're launched into the editor, which allows the very first thing that you're going to see is the ability to start a piece of content from a theme. So if you don't have any ideas or inspiration to begin with and you're looking for a starting point, what we've done is provided a fairly robust list of items that you can choose from as your starting point. All these can be selected and then modified or changed to your heart's content, but it does give you a starting point. Ultimately, if none of those appeal to you, you do have the option to start completely from blank and produce something that's fully within your control or without any reference. It's really up to you. Within the themes, there are some nice little things that we've provided. So for instance, if I select a given theme, you'll see within that theme for this one, which is a travel or a great escape type idea, we have several different layouts provided. So you may like the concept of this theme of the great escape or just the color theme or the way the images are cropped, but you're looking to apply something different. So you'd like it to be a blog posting or include a video block natively or be more e-com centric. All those are options that can be selected within the layout of a given theme to give a little bit of flexibility in how you proceed with that theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just choose promo option 1 to begin with, and we'll launch into the editor to talk a bit about what it's capable of based on a piece of existing content. One thing that I should highlight as well is everything that is produced within the drag and drop editor is natively responsive. Anything that's created from scratch or from a theme is fully responsive and will render very nicely on both desktop and mobile devices without you having to change any or program or code anything specific for that to work. So that's one thing that is a very, I guess, very advantageous of using the drag and drop editor. So we'll begin. And just like that, I'm launched into the editor. It provides a very nice canvas view of the content that's being produced. So you can select and view and see what's there. What I'll do is I'm going to work through each of the individual blocks sort of piece by piece to describe what we're capable of building within the editor. So starting at the top, of course, we are able to give our campaign a name, just like we have always been able to do within Campaigner. The preview and test, we'll circle back and show that later, but to verify how it's going to look with any merge fields or customizations that may exist within the content. Your undo and redo options, should you make a mistake or need to undo something that you did in error. And of course, within the content or the canvas itself, you have the ability to move blocks around, to copy blocks, as well as delete anything that you may no longer require. On the side panel, we have all the different content block types. So text, image, caption, which is really a combination of image and text with different styling options. Collage, which allows you to select a grid of images, anything from 2, 3, or 4 image collages that can then be stacked or manipulated in the mobile view. A very nice video block that allows you to link and include a thumbnail from YouTube or Vimeo. A call to action button, a divider block, a social media block, as well as custom HTML. So anything that's not capable within this block, within these blocks, you do have the ability to drag in a custom HTML block and dig into the real coding side of producing an email. Of course, there are the rows. This allows you to build your structure of your email. So single row, or sorry, single column, double column offset on either side, triple and quad. And of course, there are themes. So we selected the Great Escape theme, which has this default color palette, a default email width, content area background, and a bunch of font settings, etc. All these can be modified to be changed throughout if they need to be. So We'll talk about some of the individual blocks first. So the one that I'll click on now is the text block. You'll see that it launches the text editor, all the styling options provided for configuring or editing your text, being able to add hyperlinks, remove any forwarding, attach any files, and of course, provide any personalization for any of the merge fields that you make use of within Campaigner. So first name, last name, or any custom fields that you may have produced within Campaigner. Next, we'll talk about image. So Great Escape. This is an image that's part of the theme, but if I wanted to choose an image from my Campaigner media library, I just choose this and I'm presented my media library, which is searchable. I can select any of the images, pagination. If the image that I'm looking for isn't there, I can choose to upload it from here so that it's added to my library and choose to make use of the image. Alternate text, default sizing, image alignment, all the parameters and settings associated with how that image is placed within the block are provided through the interface as well. Caption, one doesn't exist, so we'll demonstrate the dragging portion of drag and drop. So I'll just pull this in and you'll see that I'm provided a default caption block, which has this layout, but I can quickly toggle between them if I want something different, the image over the text or vice versa. Any border style, the image source, of course, this points back to the media library, or if I wanted to direct it to an external URL, of course I can do that. Alternate text, adding any links to the images, so on and so forth, and all the settings associated with that can be found directly within the block. Collage, I will show as well, a similar idea. So by default, I have a 2-image collage or 2-image layout, but I can do 3 or 4 if I chose to. Again, these will have the alignment provided. I can select my images, do any linking that I need to do any of the spacing adjustments between the different elements within the email itself. Video block, of course, this is a nice one and something that we've received a fair amount of requests within Campaigner for, was to be able to include a linked video block directly, and that's what this feature is as part of drag and drop. So I paste my YouTube URL, a thumbnail will be generated, and then I can provide the video alignment, the block alignment of the thumbnail preview that's provided for the image. User will click on that image in the email, and then YouTube will launch and play the video back in a different tab within the browser. Button, I don't think there was a call to, oh, there is a call to action button, which looks like this. So again, the button text, any links to it, the button text style, size, any border options, alignment, etc. I can choose to round the corners to any radius that I like, and of course the button spacing. Divider, of course, is just the ability to add in a divider block. Social media looks as follows. So a nice little widget to be able to drop in any of the most common social media services. So let's quickly and easily add one of these. So if I wanted to add Instagram, I just select it, add it, and now it gets added to the block. If you edit any of these, you can see that you can then point it directly to your own Facebook page, change the text, and so on. Also different sizing options and alignment options, of course, as well as some basic color and layout styles and spacing. Oops. And of course, the custom HTML block. So obviously for target at more advanced users, but basically the ability to drop in any HTML code to perform a specific action. So maybe there is some function or functionality that you're looking to provide that wasn't provided by one of the off-the-shelf blocks on the side. You can then drop that in and make use of anything that you'd like to provide in terms of custom HTML content. So those are the highlights of all the blocks. What I wanted to show is sort of how that all fits into the next pieces of Campaigner. So obviously producing content is the one part. There's the ability to preview and test, which exists within the full email editor for Campaigner as well. And we have the ability to look at that in both desktop view and mobile view. If I had any merge fields for my contacts, I could go through my test contacts and adjust those as well to see any personalization or previews, send the test email as well, all these things. This is the interface that exists for full email editor as well, and it's been brought in to make use with the drag and drop editor. I'll go back to the editor itself just to show a few more things. I see in the notes here that there was some technical issues. Hank, are we still, can you still hear me?
Most people can hear us. I think there's just some temporary issues with a couple folks. One person said you're going a little bit fast with the demo, but I did inform that person that we are going to go back through and do a couple of examples, but maybe just slow down a little bit for the remainder.
Sure. So what we have is we have highlighted all the blocks, and of course the drag and drop editor is available in any Campaigner accounts today. So if you log into your account, go to the selection option, you'll be able to see those items and play with them yourself. You don't need to send the campaign to make use of the drag and drop editor. Under the tools, we have the ability to save this as a new template. So if I produced a piece of content that was specific to me that I really wanted to make use of again and again, I can create my own template, which then I can always refer back to. So if one of those themes or layouts was 80% what you wanted it to be, but there was some minor changes that you wanted to take advantage of and then save your own copy, you do have the ability to do that as well. So we'll call this Chad's test template. And I'll just make a new template and circle back on where that lives. So that was saved. And the other tools that we have are the ability to export the HTML. So the content that the drag and drop editor produced with all the mobile rendering code and all those items are included within this export. You can take that code and make use of it in the full email editor or elsewhere if that's your choice. It's something that you produced, and we're not binding you to Campaigner to make use of the content that you've created within the service. So with that, I'll just go to the next step. So I've produced my content, and now you'll see things begin to look very similar to the way Campaigner behaves with other editors in the product. So we're then asked to produce a plain text version of my email, which is pre-populated with any of the text that may exist from the drag and drop content. I won't show too much here. It sort of is what it is, and you have the ability to edit and change it if you chose to. And then, of course, the email details within Campaigner, where you provide information such as the subject line, the pre-header, the from email address, and all those details, footer information, any social sharing options, and any analytics that you may wish to include on tracked links that you produce within the content. I'll just give this a test. And I'll save it as draft. This will take me back into the grid. So here's the email that I just produced. Again, it shows up. If I wanted to continue editing it, of course, I'd select it and go from there. What I did want to show is just to go back to the drag and drop. If I were to create something new, you'll now see that under my save templates, that template that I produced is now available here, and I can use that as my new starting point if I chose to do so. And then, of course, or if I wanted to go back. So any of these save templates that a user may save will exist within this side panel. And at a high level, that sort of encompasses the capabilities of the drag and drop. And I know this sort of leads us into the challenge. But at a high level, this is intended to be a very user-driven, user-friendly feature. For anyone who's used a drag and drop editor before, we hope that you see a lot of similarities to what you may have used previously, dragging in the framework of rows and columns and filling those with various content blocks. And from there, any of the customization and personalization that you need to do to add text or add any of the track links, again, are all provided through the interface at the top. And with that, Hank, I guess I will pass it back to you, or you can take control back.
All right, you guys, pass it back to me. Chad, that was so great. You inspired me to go in and build an email. You made it look so easy. All right, so we had the demo of what the actual editor can do and how easy it is to use. What I want to do now is move into the 5-minute challenge. I need an echo for that. What I want to do is
challenge.
We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. I have my trusty iPhone with me, and there's the clock feature or the countdown timer. What I want to do, guys, is I want you, the listener, to choose one of the layouts I'm going to show you. And what I'm going to do is challenge Chad to try to recreate the look and feel of the example that we see now. There might be some elements in there that are proprietary proprietary to that layout, like images and stuff, but we want it to look very similar. And then what we're going to do is not be harsh, but we're going to decide if Chad succeeded or not. And I want you to use the chat feature to let me know if he did. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you the two options. So let me know if you want to choose Fenwick or Ridge. This will be what we're going to use for the first example. We'll try to do two if we can. Given that he should take 5 minutes to do each of these, I think we should be able to get through both and then still have time for Q&A. But let's have at it. Which one do you guys prefer? And let me go into the questions area and see. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Fenwick, 2 for Ridge. And I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, voting is closed, and it looks like Fenwick has won. And take a look at this. We'll come back and I'll show it to you. But what I need to do is pass it back over to Chad so he can actually build this email. So take this image and burn it in your mind that we have this here big hero image, social media at the bottom, the bars at the top, and then their logo at the top. Chad, are you ready? I'm going to hand this back over to you so that you can get ready. And then what I'll do is give you a countdown.
Sure.
All right.
I'll just
Make presenter, and we're going to bring it back over to you. All right. I am looking forward to this. Let me get my timer up. You let me know when you're at a ready state.
All right, we'll get right into the editor. And again, I'll do no cheating today. I'll totally start from blank, which is, I guess, how the most creative people start. And I'll give it a go. Like Hank said, I don't have any of the branding associated with either of these in my account. So what we'll try to do is replicate it, but it won't be, I definitely don't have the images. So we'll see what we can do, but I think the structure and the look and feel and the, we'll be able to do that pretty quickly. So I just gotta crack my knuckles and I'll be ready to go if you want to count me down, Hank.
All right, it does look like there was some late voters, and Ridge probably would have been almost 50-50, but we're going to try to get the Ridge folks. Don't be disappointed, and let's cheer Chad on because I think he needs some encouragement. I'll read it to myself, and I won't say it to him while he's doing it, but at the end, let's give him all the praise he deserves. I have 5 minutes on the clock, and Chad, what I'm going to do is every minute I'm just going to chime in and let you know how many more you have left. So let's get started in 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, perfect. So within Fenwick, I see that I have a big header across the top. So I'm going to drag in some of my main structural blocks to begin with, just so that I can get started. And I will then add the content to those. So across the top, because I don't have the logo for Fenwick, I'm going to do it as text, and we'll fix that up. So drag in my text. I want it to be center aligned, of course. That's definitely not big enough. We'll go 72. Font style is very boring. Let's make that a little better. Color, I think it's a little green, it looked like. So I'm going to change that to be a nicer shade of green. Maybe not that shade. Right there. That looks good. One thing with Fenwick, it was on a white background, so that's good. I don't need to make any changes there. The text blocks here, I need 4 text blocks to drag in. So I'm going to drag one in, and I'm going to style it, and then I'm going to copy it. So the first thing here is stores, and it is centered. It was typed all in caps, so that's good. I don't need to fix that. Center, and instead of retyping that all, I'm just going to copy, copy, copy. So it was called. And then there was daily use. Oh, sorry, daily muse. Shows how little I looked at these. So this is exciting. Gift cards and services. All right. So then I can take these and I can just drag them over. Take this guy, put him here.
3 minutes.
Cards. Yeah, no one's I want cards. All right, so next after that, I need to style the background. That's easy enough to do right here. Background color is just going to be a nice dark gray. I'll select my font, and that should have been white. Should have done that first. My mistake. Fix all these up quickly. Do a couple of them, then I'm going to move on to the other stuff so that you can see more. So I need my image, a nice big image. We'll drag that in. This one's easy. From my media library, I did pre-populate with something nice looking. Let's do that. One thing I noticed that it's not going edge to edge. Let's fix that up by getting rid of any of the padding.
2 minutes.
That, and also have some padding here. Get rid of these guys. All right, nice edge-to-edge image. Below that, I had another text block. I'll just drag that in. It's a single row. It had a big section of text. I'll pull that in, and I'll just put in some placeholder for now. We'll fix that up once we get to it. Below that, I had my social media bar. So I need another row just to make it easy. And I'll drag in another row for my, oh, actually this one looked very similar. So I'm gonna copy this guy and drag it down at the very bottom. Actually, I'll fix these up first. So change this to be white. Change this guy to also be white.
1 minute on the clock.
All right, I'm gonna copy this again. The race is on. All right, pull some of this together quickly at the end. I wanna get the social bar in there at least. All right, I'm gonna delete this one because that's no longer so social. Drag that in quick. There was a lighter background color. I'll do that fast because that's really gonna make it look close to it. And
30 seconds.
let's go back to the social. It was white. So I'll make those with transparent background so it looked like that. And I need Instagram. Add that into the mix. Twitter was first, no problem. And yeah, the only thing I'm really missing is that big blob of text, which was centered. So I don't think I'll get to it, but we can try. Thanks for.
Hands off the mouse.
Well, yeah, it could have been better.
What do you guys think? 5 minutes and building an email from scratch. Did you get it kind of close to what you had ingrained in your mind? We'll go back and look at the example in a moment, but take a look at this and then we'll switch back over. Do you guys think this looks kind of like the example that we gave? I mean, there are some subtleties and links that need to be added and all that, but the goal was to kind of, can we make something look like something that already exists? And the answer to me is yes. You know, early on, somebody was cheering you on. They said, "Yeah, Chad," and now we got "Good job," "Wow," "Good job," "Great job," made it look too easy. So kudos to you. I
if
think
you
did
could
great.
see the sweat on my brow, you'll know it wasn't. It was easy, but obviously I don't deal well with pressure. One thing that I did want to show, Hank, and it's beyond the 5 minutes, but I want to show it just because it's really important.
Sure.
And we highlighted on it specifically was the ability to edit images. So this was an image I had in my library. If I click on it, and one thing that was in this email was that they had some text overlay, but other things that we allow you to do are to transform it, add those filters, adjust the sizing. But let's just say I had an image, but I did want to overlay some text on it. I can do that. So I click here. I can put, I think it said big hello across the front. I won't type it all out, but it was like this. So I can choose my font, something like this, make it a little bigger, too big.
We do have some technical issues, and just a reminder, we're going to get to those at the end of the webinar. One that I want to address now is, can we hire your company to make templates? Yes, you can. We have a design team that can actually develop these so that you can save them as a template and then keep reusing them over and over. Just contact us and we can work through that with you. Very slick, awesome. There's just a lot of great stuff.
All right, so that was just a quick demo of that photo editor. Sorry to steal time in between. Hank, I'll pass it back to you
We're doing
show
pretty good
the
on time. Hey guys, what do you
show
think?
you.
Should we do the second one? If you want to hand, yeah, there you go. You sent me that back over. Do you guys want to do the second one? Let me know in the questions area. I think the answer is going to be yes. Sure, yes. All right, so let's take a look at this second one here, which is Ridge. There's a little bit more black going on here. There's some transparent images, and again, the social at the bottom. Keep that in mind. We need to hold chat accountable to make it look pretty cool. If we take a look at the Fenwick, I think that was a great representation, minus the actual image. We used one that was kind of similar, but I think it looked really close to that actual example. Now the challenge is, now that you've warmed up your fingers, Chad, is to get Ridge to look really cool as well. And what I'm going to do is pass it back over to you. Looks like we're playing volleyball here, and get started
That
on this second one.
That's good. I've reset my environment back to a blank, start from blank. So hopefully everyone sees that. And we can begin.
All right, let me get 5 minutes on the clock. All right, 5 minutes, and then we're going to get started in 3, 2, and 1. Off to the races.
All right,
Place your bets, folks.
Drag in my blocks. So Ridge looked like it had 2 across the top. Again, it was text at the top. And I'll just type in Ridge. This time I'm going to take a different approach this time. I'm going to fill in a lot of my content first, and we can go back and do the styling after. We'll see if that is more efficient. And this had something about free shipping. I'll go in and fill all the details later. And then it had a big welcome to Ridge. We'll fill all that in after. I'll go through. It had a nice big image. And so I'll add in my image. And below that, it had a call to action button. I'll drag that in right below. And let's go back. And below that, I had
4 minutes.
Another text. All right, this is good. I feel like I'm ahead of last time. Drag in my text. And this was our best sellers.
Getting a lot of good questions. The Q&A is going to be interesting.
That is good to hear. Stop distracting me.
No one in marketing is ever distracted.
And below those images, I had text for each. I chose to do the build it myself, but I could have technically done one of the caption blocks. Let's see if that helps or hurts me. I'll just call these link 1, link 2.
3 minutes.
Link 3. All right, and then I had another call to action button. I'll drop it in quick. And my social across the bottom. All right, so that is the big blocks. Let's go back and clean things up quick. So a ridge across the top was centered, and it was much bigger. Whoops.
Don't forget the praises, folks.
Default for that.
Chad lives off of feedback.
Yeah, I need anything to boost my confidence in this situation. So we'll change this to white quickly.
And we always encourage feedback on the product level. If you think we could be doing something differently or better, please let us know.
Absolutely, that keeps me employed.
Chad is the man. Amazing. Go, Chad, go. You could do it. Put your back into it.
Oh boy. All right, let's center this. I want to get my image in there quick because that's what will make it look much more complete. So image, choose what we got, something.
And a timer for you, 1.5 minutes.
All right, we'll do that. I'm gonna go back and get these images in too because I have some watches. I have some other products in here, computer stuff, and shoes. One thing that I want to show, oh boy, let's get going.
Go Speed Racer. Thanks, Derica.
One thing I'm missing is my divider. I want to get that dropped in there. It's black. It is a little thicker.
Man, there's so much praise. You just don't understand.
All right, so maybe I have the wrong career. I could,
30 seconds.
Time for. All right, so there's that. My button. Oh, this was on black. So let me make my image fill in nice. Get rid of that. Whoop, not that much. Oh, a little spacing at the bottom again. This was black background. I'm gonna lose my button, so maybe I won't do that just now. Maybe at the end, if you'll give me a little extra time, we can actually take this one to completion with a few extra minutes. So
yeah, that's actually the time. But yeah, I think you met it on the first one. Let's just go ahead and continue this. One bit of or one question that came up was the buttons are different. Are they changeable? The sample is rounded, and the one on Chad's is squared with rounded corners.
Yeah, so what we can do, so the sample had a nice, actually that leads perfectly into what I wanted to change. So the one in the sample had a nice, it was a white button to begin with, and the corners were definitely rounded. So if I want to round it off, I do that.
That was easy.
That was very easy. Of course, the button color on it was actually white. So I'm going to change it to white. It's going to disappear for a second because I need to change my font color, which is here. So it was black. So I can't see the button because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fix my background color for this row. Make it black. There, my button reappeared. We'll see that my image isn't going quite edge to edge. Let's fix that up.
We're going to be getting into Q&A soon, folks, so go ahead, and if you have any questions, if you haven't asked one yet, please go ahead and add it. This way we can get through as many as possible. I do have all the questions. If you did ask already, we will get to them.
So we've got, we need to make this font a little bigger and bolder. So this size had a nice big reminder that we are Ridge. We can make it bold. Why not? Free shipping on orders over $50. I noticed that this part was nice and bold to draw attention to it, as well as italicized. Looks like we've got this part, our image links, these are all centered. So let me fix that up.
It's looking good.
And again, this button was also rounded, so I click the button. Make that a little bit rounder. Again, button text was not the name of the button. It was called Browse All in caps. So we'll see that updated right away.
And I believe the social was like a white on gray, but we know you could do that. Actually did that in the previous one.
Yes, so we'll see how that was. So we can start with the questions, Hank, I think, because right. I think we've pretty much got it.
Well, let's take a look at this one and then pass the controls back to me because I have a slide or two I want to get over before we get into Q&A.
Sure.
Go ahead and change that color first if you want.
Yeah, let's get these cleaned up so it looks, it was black and it was transparent. I won't add all the blocks in, or sorry, all the services. Everyone saw how easy that is. It's just click and add. So I'll do finish off with my preview and test.
All right, folks, take a look at this, and then we'll look at the original and just see if it came pretty close, which I think it looks very close.
So just to draw attention to a few things, so the nice title block with the black background, secondary, nice image edge to edge with the button underneath it, bestsellers with the dividing line, 3 columns of images, the browse all, and the social footer.
Awesome.
So I will hand this back to you, Hank.
Dana says, well done, and oh, wow. All right.
I
So
feel
this
like
is
people might be trying to build up my confidence, but thank you very much.
So here's the original. I think it looks pretty similar based on what we had and what we had to work with, and a limited time frame. So congrats. Thank you so much. I think that was awesome that you were able to do that. What I want to do is point out that we are having another webinar next month, Wednesday, December 18th. It's going to be the 5 habits of highly successful email marketers. If you want to be successful, make sure to tune in. We'll have a registration link available soon for that. I just want to make sure you're aware that that one's coming up so you don't make any holiday plans that would interfere with this one. And if you need support, which I mentioned, I give you information on how you can contact support. You can reach out to support@campaigner.com. There's our regular phone number and then our international phone number. Take a screenshot. Otherwise, it will be in the recording, and it's available in the application so that you can reach out to your favorite support representative, and they can help you with any of these items. We had a couple of questions, which we'll get into as well, about getting help with this, and that's what our support team is there to do. And if you have a CSM or an account manager, we'd be happy to give you a demo if you haven't used it or tried it out yet. Keep that in mind. And with that, we're going to head into the questions. And so go ahead and use the questions feature if you haven't asked already. And let me go through here. And I know I'm going to have to kind of weave through some of the praise in there, but I'll read those out as well because I think it's worth it. All right, let me start at the top here. Can colors be changed? That's what Dana is asking. Dana, it depends on what you're talking about, but colors on almost every element, like text on buttons, that in the background and a row and all that, that can all be changed, yes. But stuff that's hard coded, like is there anything that can't be changed, I guess is the question. But even your dividers can be changed. So I'm thinking almost anything can be changed, right,
Yeah,
Chad?
any of the elements within there, button colors, background colors, fonts, borders, all that is has the full palette of colors that can be changed. What we demonstrated today, because we didn't go through everything, I guess the examples we had a pretty basic color palette, so I was choosing from some monochromatic blacks and grays, but within the color picker element, you can paste in any hex codes of colors. Like if you have a particular color associated with your brand, you don't need to try to match it with your eye. You can dump in the hex code or RGB and get those exact match to whatever you might use as part of your brand. So, and that can be applied throughout the content within the editor itself.
Naomi asks, how can I insert an animated GIF?
Yeah, so if within your image library, if you have an animated GIF, it would just get pasted in like any other image. The editor itself won't play it back. You'd have to look at that by using preview and test. So if you built your email that did have an animated GIF and sent that as part of the test email to yourself, just to confirm that it animates the way you would expect, it's treated as any other GIF image in our image library. We don't care that it's animated or not. That happens sort of on the client side when it plays it back. So if you have a set of animated GIFs that you'd like to make use of and include in your campaigner media library or reference externally, that's fully in bounds.
And keep in mind, folks, our design team can actually create those animated GIFs for you. I actually just saw one recently where it looked like a computer terminal with a black background and green text like the old computers used to have, and it said Black Friday deal, and it left the cursor blinking. It was really cool. It was attractive and made you look at the email. So again, we can have our design team create either whether it's basic animated GIFs or even advanced GIFs. They're very knowledgeable about file sizes because that's the only thing you need to be careful of with animated GIFs is the file size. All right, Michael is asking, can we upload specific fonts such as Whitney?
That's a good question. Today we cannot, but that has actually come up already, and it's something that we're looking to do to include. But as of this moment, no, the fonts that are provided are, I guess, hard-coded within the editor itself. But we like that idea, and it's something that we've entertained. We're just not there yet. So if like I said, a big part of my job is gathering back this feature feedback. And if that's something that people are like to see, we can definitely start to gather that. But that is not a new request. So appreciate it. It is something that we'll look to add to the roadmap, but is not yet committed.
And I think for the most part, you want to make sure you're using what's called web safe fonts. In other words, if you had a custom font made for you and you use that and the recipient doesn't have it installed in their computer, it'll default to whatever the most generic is. Therefore, the result may not always be as intended. And we recommend you test. Even if we add custom fonts, you might want to test it before you actually send it out to your larger list.
Yeah, that's sort of I guess, a bit of a slippery slope for sure. You definitely want to be web font based, and I know everyone wants to make it on brand for them, but in trying to solve the problem, it often might introduce other problems across clients. So it's something we're looking at, but we don't want to give people a tool to shoot themselves in the foot necessarily.
All right. Steven said, my screen is different than yours. I do not have a sidebar. That might be a technical issue, and I encourage you to reach out to support so they can troubleshoot that for you because you should have that sidebar. I'm thinking you're talking about the widgets on the side. I would definitely contact support about that.
Yeah, if he's talking about the categories panel, you'll see it there. There's a little slide it out option. At one point, it's persisted. So if ever you've closed the category panel, it will stay hidden. But there are little handles on the side, and if that's what it's about, is not the side panel of the drag and drop editor, but the side panel of categorization of email campaigns. It may just be have been hidden and never represented.
All right, not to make you blush, but here the next few are pretty good. Good job, Chad. Wow, great job. You made it look easy. I'm impressed. Very cool. Love that Campaigner now offers a service that most of our clients had to go elsewhere for. That is cool. Can we hire company?
Yeah, we definitely appreciate, I guess patience is the word. This is something that we have been working on for a while. The reason that it's taken as long as it has is that we really wanted to get it right, and we really, really hope that we've hit the nail on the head with this, and it's something that people can just make use of immediately because we did invest the time and effort up front. So we know this is something that people have been asking for. We appreciate everyone's patience, but now it's here, and we hope that everyone is able to make use of it.
And if you really like today's demo and a 5-minute challenge and what we're doing with the editor, please make sure to shout us out on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Comment, reach out to us, mention us, let us know how great we're doing so that others can know and join in and have some fun as well. All right, and I think I covered this one. Can we hire your company to develop templates? That is a solid yes. Just reach out to us. And then Jeff asks, we would like to know if the footer can be customized and a particular centering is below the email.
Yeah, so Campaigners footers are managed in a few different ways. So by default, depending on what price point you're at within Campaigner, there'll be a Campaigner footer provided. But if you reach out to support, there is the ability to customize the footers with HTML or divs or whatever you need to do. Really, the one thing that, and the reason that's being done is just to ensure that any unsubscribe or subscription management is properly contained within the footer so that no laws are being broken, basically, or that you've signed a waiver to indicate that you are responsible for managing those unsubscribes on your own. So it is possible to customize it, but in most cases, depending on where you set up price point, it may require a call into Campaigner support.
And I think Brian just has some feedback. Many of our clients use Strippo, and from what I can see, this does most or all of what Strippo can do, all within Campaigner, so you save time and effort with having to export from another and import into Campaigner, and then make sure all the formatting crossed over, including mobile responsive. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was our end goal for you to have one place to build your email, make it look professional, and have it look great on mobile and desktop as well as tablets. All right, and Dana asks, what do you mean transparent image? Dana, what I meant by that was when you create a image, and most times you do this in Photoshop, or there's other platforms that allow you to do this, you delete the background. In other words, you're only seeing, say, the image. You notice Chad used a couple of images. I think one was like office products, and the background was kind of gray. Imagine that it was a white background on white so that you only see the actual product. The one example had that actually here in this slide I have up there probably is one. I'm trying to see if I can see one really quick. I got to move the questions out of the way. But basically, it's just showing the product, and then the background color shows around that rather than it being like a block of white on black or something like that. All right. Somebody was saying, I know there's 5 minutes on the clock and that's what the webinar is titled, but maybe give them a little more time so you had somebody rooting for you.
Whoever that is, thank you. Thank you very much.
That was Gretchen. Brittany said, hiring Campaigner to create templates, do you have an approximate cost? Yeah, it's definitely going to depend on how long it takes, but it's going to be anywhere from, say, $150 and up. It just depends on the complexity and whether or not it's actual custom HTML or if it's with our drag and drop editor, which is a lot easier. But yeah, it won't be thousands of dollars, which is what you're saying that you may have paid in the past. All right, Steven says, are you able to view the HTML/CSS coding and make alterations after creation?
Yes, you can. We sort of touched on that quickly. Under the tools options within the editor, there's the ability to export the HTML. So that's the full HTML. You could take that, for instance, load it into the full email editor, which is one of the features that we're working on next, is to make that step easy so that you can start in a drag and drop editor, build your structure, take advantages of all the ease of use of the drag and drop editor, and then pull it into the full email editor to make any code changes that might be very, very specific or add extra elements to it that may be required. So the code that you produce in the editor, you can take that HTML, copy it out, modify it. You can't obviously load it back into the editor. That's sort of what the custom HTML block is. If you need to do custom things within the editor or the structure of the editor itself, that's why we provided the custom HTML block. But if you wanted to take a piece of code, extract it and modify the code as an entire unit, you're able to do that and take it with you. So basically, we've allowed portability of what's produced within the editor to make use of wherever you may choose to outside of Campaigner. Obviously, we hope that you're not coming to Campaigner just for the editor.
Awesome. And Kristen, thank you for this. I've been with Campaigner for nearly 10 years. I'm so excited about these changes. It will make sending campaigns so much easier. So thank you for that. I'll definitely need a copy of this. He is so good. Sounds like you might be getting some job offers, Chad. The buttons are different. We went over that one, making them round. And that was fancy, the line divider. Thank you for that feedback, Neil. Is it possible to set up time with someone to get one-on-one training? Yes, Dana, it just depends on if you have a customer success manager, an account manager, or maybe even someone from support can help out. But I'll notate that you're asking about that and find out for you, so you don't have to work as hard. Amy said your memory is amazing. She's already forgotten what the original looks like when you were working on the second one there.
I'll be honest. I had printed copies sitting beside me. This was not a test of Chad's memory skills. This was a test of Chad's content creation ability.
You should have kept that hidden.
Yeah, I don't want there to be any. I don't want to oversell myself. I might get in trouble.
All right, Neil is asking, with the Fenwick example, is it possible to hyperlink the items at the top to a specific section within the email? And he said anchor linking.
Anchor linking is not something that we've introduced just yet. It's a good comment, something that we'd look to do in the future for sure. But yes, I understand what he's asking for. I'll just double check because it is something that we've been thinking about. Yeah, it's no anchor links today, but something that we would consider doing for sure.
And Kristen said, if I already started a campaign in a full email editor, can I copy the HTML, paste it into the drag and drop, or should I just start with a new campaign?
So the answer to that is no. The journey from drag and drop to full email editor is possible. However, the journey from full email editor to drag and drop is not possible. And really that's because a lot of what we're seeing in the drag and drop editor is producing HTML, but there's a whole other set of code and blocks that are required to identify each of those elements that we drag in. And unfortunately, in standard HTML code, that's not a thing. So we could drag it in, it wouldn't be friendly to use and manipulate. It just couldn't identify the blocks anymore. So it is a one-way journey from drag and drop to full email editor. So if you are starting or have something that you like in the full email editor, you'll have to build that up from scratch again. And hopefully that sort of ties into everything that we've shown today, is that it's a good opportunity to refresh some of your existing full email editor content that works well in this editor, gain some of the native responsiveness, and it's easy. So hopefully everything that you've produced before can be replicated relatively quickly in the new editor.
Dana has a lot of questions today. She's asking if we can use a gift and not worry about trademarks or copyright. We are not going to provide, any kind of legal advice, and that's our disclaimer. But what you need to do with any kind of images that you might use that you do not own or have not purchased is you want to make sure that they are copyright and free, and make sure you can share them without any kind of attribution. I would say use a stock photo site, or have us build one custom for you. This way you do not get in trouble. But again, we do not provide that as legal advice or what to do and what not to do. You may want to do some research on that. Try to get it through a couple more. I know we got 2 minutes. Tyrone says, is there a limit on the number of personal saved templates? And can a template be deleted? Are saved templates private or shared?
All right, several parts of that. So part one, no limits to templates that you can save. That's something that Campaigner sort of prides itself on. We've done it for the full email editor as well, is that we like to allow you to produce as much content as you need to support your business. Hopefully there's, you're not producing thousands or millions of assets, but that'll be hard to navigate through. But there's no limit to that. You can produce what you need to within your system. What was the second part, Hank?
Let's see. Number of personal saved. Can templates be deleted?
Yes, they can. So on that Save Templates panel, there was two options there that I guess I went over pretty quickly. One is the ability to edit it, and that's to basically change the name of the template. And the second option provided is to delete it.
All right, and then are Save Templates private or shared?
The Save Templates, the My Save Templates are private, so those are associated with your account. We do also offer system templates for any resellers or agencies who would like to produce shared assets to be shared across multiple accounts as part of their Campaigner organization. However, that sort of delves into a little bit beyond the basics, and if you want to talk about that, I'd recommend a call to support to talk about organization accounts, agency accounts, and what that means and what's provided, not just in terms of template management, but as a whole in terms of managing sub-accounts within Campaigner.
Tyrone is asking for the video drop. Are we able to customize the freeze frame that is auto-generated? It's pretty much pulled the thumbnail from whatever you're sharing, Vimeo or YouTube. Whatever you choose over there is what's going to come into there. We don't have any way for you to edit that currently. Chad, do you think that that's something we're going to add in the future?
It's something, that's the first request we've heard of it. Obviously, the video block is something that is new to us. So that'd be one of the areas that we're looking to gather feedback on. It's our first stab at it. We wanted to make sure that people were able to provide video or links to video content within the email. The thumbnail is generated, yes, like you said, by the YouTube service. We're getting that via one of their API calls. But if people are looking to enhance or change that to something different, I'd gladly take that feedback, and it's something that we consider to add flexibility, because depending on what you're looking to provide, the default thumbnail may not get your message across. So I'll take that one as feedback, and we can add that to the list of things that we consider.
Right. We only have a few more questions. I know we're at the top of the hour. If you do need to leave, please do so. You can always get the recording and go to the end here and you'll get your answer. How many rows make for a good effective email? That's from Mark. As many as necessary to get your point or your call to action across. And it depends on what industry you're in. And then also keep in mind, you want to keep the length of your email and the amount of content in there as short as possible, because the file size of your email does matter when it comes to getting into the inbox, number one, and then being cut off, say in Gmail. You may have gotten a long email and it says click here to read more. That means your email got cut off, and a lot of people don't click on that. And more importantly, your unsubscribe link is hidden when that happens. But if you want to talk about strategy, definitely reach out to support or your CSM, and we can talk through strategy on how long or how many rows your email should have. Stephen is asking, are you able to view the HTML, CSS coding and make alterations after creation? I think we answered that one already earlier. Facebook group from Dana. It's this Facebook group question. I guess she's asking, can we post to Facebook groups?
So post as part of, I guess we might need a little information on that, as part of social share or the links of the widget. So what we demonstrated today mostly was around the social sharing, social content block, which it's links to the social media sites. If the question is around social sharing, that's sort of an independent feature of drag and drop that Campaigner has that applies to both the drag and drop and full email editor, where you can choose to socially share on any of the, at least on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, socially share the content that's been produced. So the basically a website version of a web version of the content can be shared on any of those social platforms. So
she did follow up and just asked if we had a Facebook group. We have a Facebook page, but not a group. We'd love if you go over and give us a like and then let us know how the webinar was. Jeff is asking, do we have a widget that supports WordPress?
No, that's a good one. We'll take that as feedback as well. We'd obviously want a little more detail around that on what the expectation of a WordPress integration or WordPress widget might look at, but we take the feedback. Like I said, anything. This is our first iteration of our drag and drop editor, so we only want to make it better. And the things that we highlighted that are coming next are just the beginning. So please provide any details of what a WordPress block or widget means to you, and we can explore that.
Awesome. Kelly is asking, can you crop an existing picture?
Yes, you can. So as we showed within the photo editor where I added the text piece, one of the options was to crop out anything that you want to resize the image. If there was a specific area of the image that you wanted to focus on, you can crop it out, save a new copy of that image. All can be controlled within the photo editor directly.
All right, now this is from Warren. Can you create a color fade like the "You Deserve This" blue image on your screen? That was from when you were doing the actual thing, I think. Or maybe he's talking about, oh, you see it right here. It's on my screen now. You deserve this. There, it's like towards the left side.
Oh, the gradients? No, I believe right now all our background colors are solid. So again, that's great feedback.
Dana said, I'm new to Campaigner. I appreciate all your patience in answering all my questions. No problem, Dana. We're getting a lot of thank yous. And let's see, I think there's one maybe. How to access drag and drop. It should be available. If not, contact support. And then Tyrone says, we send a lot of emails with featured videos, so the ability to customize a free frame would be plus, but not a deal breaker. So that was a follow-up to his earlier question. Let's see. When Google implements playing video directly in Gmail, will Campaigner support this? That's from Brian.
So I believe their video playback will probably be related to part of the AMP content. AMP, I guess.
Accelerated mobile pages.
Yeah, it's not something we've thought thoroughly through initially. Like we're not at the stage where we'd even be able to talk to that. It's something to take under consideration for sure, of playback of video directly within the content. However, we would that's only going to be supported by Gmail, so we need to revisit how we identify and make sure that we're not providing things. So it's good feedback, and I know that Gmail is introducing a lot of features that are very specific to themselves, and those are all items that we're considering and trying to ensure that we support, to make sure that everyone who's using our editors are able to take advantage of the most common, I guess, email clients at this point in time. So again, it's good feedback, but not eminently on the roadmap by any means.
Well, we can wipe the sweat off our brows. That is all the questions, but that was not all the feedback. I could share that with you, Chad, so you can have that, because I think you did an awesome job. Round of applause to you. You did all the heavy lifting today. And we encourage you to keep providing feedback on our platform and on how we did on this webinar. This way, we are encouraged to have more webinars like this, and then also add some more great items like this drag and drop editor to our platform to make your job easier as marketers. That is our number one job. You as the customer need to get your emails out. They need to look professional and not have any errors, etc. We want to show you how to use the editor, how to use the platform, and even help you with content and design. Chad, any closing comments? I really appreciate you coming on today and taking this 5-minute challenge. I know it could have been daunting, but you actually came through it with flying colors.
Well, thank you very much. The one thing that I just wanted to say again is thanks to everyone who attended, and the feedback that you provide is not falling on deaf ears. And I know everyone wants things immediately. And just because they don't materialize immediately, please don't think that we haven't taken them to heart. Any feedback that we can get truly helps us get direction in what we're looking to build next. And as part of the product management team here, that's really our biggest struggle, is to make sure that we are introducing the right features that our customers are asking for. And really the only way that we truly know that is getting feedback directly from folks like you. So thank you very much for everyone who took the time to give such specific feedback, especially like this is very meaningful and really helps us understand what people are looking at when they make use of the editor specifically. But that whole statement applies to everything else beyond the editor. So if you see other things, please make sure that you're bringing that up with us. We'd really like to try to make Campaigner serve everyone's needs as best we can.
Like the old saying goes, if you don't speak up, no one else is going to speak up. Or if you thought somebody else asked something, they probably didn't. If you give us that feedback, we'll take it to heart, see what we can do to help you create better emails and send out better campaigns. And that is all for today, Chad. Maybe I can have you on in the future. But again, remember, December 18th, we have our next webinar, 5 Habits of Highly Successful Email Marketers. And we'll see you then. And until then, happy sending.